GoDaddy is releasing hundreds of new domains that tell people who you are and what you do. There are options for just about everything, and your chances of getting the name you want are now better than ever. Visit GoDaddy.com and enter promo code Rooster30 to save 30% on your order. Some limitations apply. See website for details.
Stop wasting your money and time buying expensive razors. For just a couple bucks a month, DollarShaveClub.com will ship amazing quality razors right to your door. Come on, join the hundreds of thousands of guys who have upgraded to the smarter way to shave. Shave time, shave money. Join now at DollarShaveClub.com/roosterteeth.
This podcast is brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron sends gourmet recipes and all the fresh ingredients you need to make them right to your door. To see what's on the menu this week, visit blueapron.com. Our listeners get their first 2 meals free. Just go to blueapron.com/roosterteeth. blueapron.com/roosterteeth.
Hey,
Hello.
everybody! Look at this. No Gus this week.
No Gus.
We should say right out of the gate that this is a pre-recorded podcast. It always upsets people when.
Why do people get upset?
I don't know. Like
we're lying to them?
Yeah, that we were pre-recording the podcast. And
cheating
it's not
them?
What if
live.
one of us is dead by the time this airs?
So,
What if that happened?
Dude, don't say that.
Just call attention to it, you know?
oh my god.
Hey, give me a beer.
So who's running this train wreck?
We are recording this on a. We're all about to go to
Wednesday.
PAX. So Monday we're gonna be in PAX still because PAX runs over Labor Day.
Sure, why
Labor
not?
Day?
Monday?
Is it Labor Day?
Yeah.
I think that's the holiday.
Are there any other holidays that are as confused as easily as Labor Day and Memorial Day?
Veterans
Yeah.
Day?
Veterans
No,
Day?
those two are Labor Day and Memorial Day.
But I
are
never get to
definitely
Veterans Day
interchangeable.
to think it's Columbus Day or something like that. I never
Leif
Arbor
Erikson Day.
But are you
Columbus a
guys
veteran?
the same way? Do you always have to think if it's Labor Day or Memorial Day? And
Yes, I do.
Once you remember-
they basically be the same holiday.
Once
if
you
really-
remember-
like in my brain, as far as like what they, I don't know.
What is
What
the
do you
difference?
do for Labor Day?
We should name them Summer Holiday 1 and Summer Holiday 2. I mean, I do appreciate the reasons that we celebrate them, whatever those are.
Are they
is
both
the
on
point?
Mondays?
But
What are they for?
Labor Day is for people
I know
who
Memorial
labor.
Day's for.
Yeah.
What's Labor Day for?
yeah, what
Memorial
do we
Day,
do?
that's obvious.
Labor
Are
Day's
we
just made
supposed
up,
to
right?
celebrate?
It's like
celebrate
Arbor Day.
labor?
It's a holiday because you work. It's like a reason
No,
not
it
to
really
work.
is that what it is?
I don't know. Let's look up what Labor Day is. I actually don't even know.
All I know is I got a 3-day weekend, so I'm not
That's what
complaining.
everybody knows.
Thanks, laborers.
So PAX runs over the Labor Day holiday into Monday, so we'll have to be there. So we had to entertain 30,000 people instead of entertaining
Wasn't quite at all,
millions
Jordan.
that listen to the podcast. All right, what is Labor Day? Let's find this out.
Is it like something that like some sort of union came up with? Like we want one day of the year.
We call it
We
Union
for
Day.
sure get a day off. What is it?
Labor Day in the United States is a holiday celebrated on the first Monday in September. It is a celebration of the American labor movement and is dedicated to the social and economic achievements of workers. So why are we celebrating?
Should we celebrate our workers?
Why is anyone?
All right, first of all, let's introduce ourselves since we have a pretty much an entirely new cast
Correct.
on this podcast. Why don't you start, John?
I'm John.
I'm Blaine.
I'm Jordan.
And I am Burnie. And Gus.
And I'm John again.
Gus is here
peace.
with
Feels
I'm in
nice
Gus's
to say.
spirit.
John, this is the first time you've ever been on a podcast.
This is the first time I've been on a podcast.
You appeared before on our...
I did. I was in the hot spot.
I set up the microphone again this time
Yeah.
because one of the cool things about today's podcast
Is Gus isn't here.
that's the first thing. The second, I miss Gus when he's on the podcast. And no offense, but you guys feel weird and new to me.
Do you want me to
and
act more
awful.
like Gus?
Blaine, I got to call something out
Ooh.
here. First of all, you look gorgeous.
Thanks.
You look great. What is the deal, though, with the tie, the nice pants?
Wait, before Blaine answers this, you said before this podcast starts, like, let's make sure we treat this like an audio podcast. And right off the bat, you're making
calling
a
visual.
gag about
Yeah.
I
Blaine's
got to
look.
ask you about the socks,
talk about
though.
your glasses,
He's got
though.
short socks on.
Oh, in long pants?
Yeah, with long pants.
Well, I don't know. They're still athletic, and I have high tops
They're
on. So like,
athletic.
you know, I need to make
What
sure.
does athletic have to do with your
Fashion
pants?
faux pas.
Well, I'm an athletic person. Seeing how I'm stretching here for you audio listeners.
Can you do the splits?
No, and
Like
if you
you're-
make
like
me
a
try,
hero?
I'll tear my taint in half.
Is that what you officially tear?
Yes.
Yeah.
What muscle is your taint? Do you know?
Yeah, is there a name for it?
Is that a
Why-
muscle?
What are you doing? Get out of here.
Taintimus Maximus?
It's right the between the spots. You know the the ball and the
What's
buttocks.
the Latin word for between the spots?
I don't know. But
Anatomy by
it's
Blaine
my second.
Gibson.
It's my second podcast. The first time I wore a suit. You know, and
Yeah.
I'm still kind of new to this, and You know, it's like dating a girl. You got to show up with your best outfit. So I'm
wear
kind of
suits on
I don't have a
dates.
suit jacket on. Otherwise, I would have brought my pink suit jacket.
You'll learn to stop putting in effort.
I'm just really
the old grizzled
concerned
veteran here.
who you think the girl is in this relationship. That's what I'm worried about.
The audience.
Is it me or is it Gus?
No, it's the audience.
Is it the
Oh, I see.
podcast?
You know.
You're drawing them in.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is your strategy is you're less and less clothed every time.
Right.
So you see them.
So next time I'll just be in a t-shirt, then tank top, then no shirt. You know. So 3 podcasts from now, shirtless podcast.
Now you have to do that.
if it happens.
Blade, I would be so impressed if we got you through 3 episodes of any production and you kept your shirt on during all those.
You said you were gonna wear your pink shirt, and then we
I was
planned
gonna-
this out. You know, you're gonna wear your pink shirt. I was gonna wear my pink pants.
Planned
and
out
then,
nothing.
And
Now
then-
Blaine looks like a fool.
I
up
was going
here.
to wear my pink shirt and that tie, but I just got out of the house in a hurry, so I didn't get to it. But one of the cool things about this podcast today is that we're filming it at about noon, which makes me feel guilty for drinking a beer now.
Yeah.
But
got 3. Don't
the
worry
good
about
part about that is like everybody is in the building right now. Well, everybody who's here. A lot of people are out of town. Gav's
That's
out
a
of,
good summation. Everyone who's here is in the building.
I think that's usually the case, though.
everybody
Where's
who's
everyone
in
who's
Austin.
not here? They're not in the building.
They're somewhere else. Yeah, but Gav's out of
they're
town.
just outside.
He's in the UK
He's been
doing
out of town
something
for a while, though.
He's doing in the UK doing something really, really cool.
He's doing the UK.
And then Gus is already at PAX.
Yeah. My boss is at PAX
Joel's somewhere. I don't know where the hell Joel is. He's in California?
He's in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he's in California.
with Adam.
And with Adam Ellis. And then half the Achievement Hunter guys are about to leave to go to PAX.
Yeah, a lot of people are about to leave.
Yeah, and go somewhere. Barb's in Canada. Lindsay's in Canada. Everybody's like scattered all over the place this
Yeah.
week. So I basically
all
just
right.
named everybody that we could potentially have on mic. But what I'm hoping is that people will participate more because I like that. Gus fucking hates it.
Yeah.
And I love it when
So
people
when he's
participate.
out, the hot mic comes in.
Yeah, we got it all set up.
Burnie just breaks all the rules.
I had a thing happen to me today that really pissed me off. First of all, I have to admit, we have a key card system at the studio now, and it was a big fucking deal when we moved in here that everybody gets a key card.
Right.
Don't lose your key card.
Right. There's a fine.
There's
Yeah.
a fine. Well, there's a fine. For some people, there's a fine. I can
Wait,
tell
how
you,
many times have you lost yours?
I've lost it
Oh my
twice.
God.
Okay.
In fact, Chelsea, who's our office manager who runs she's handling all the logistics for the Kickstarter, the Indiegogo campaign for Laser Team. She's doing all the fulfillment on that, which is a huge job.
Yeah.
35,000 people.
I'm glad that wasn't brought to my department at all.
She gave me her card when I lost mine one day because she's really great about it. She goes, "We'll just use mine," and but I lost her. Did you lose hers? I lost hers.
You're losing other people's cards too.
Yeah.
You asshole.
Chelsea's a
when you-
boss at office management, though.
What's that?
She's doing a great job as office manager.
No, she's kicking ass.
Yeah.
How many new pairs of glasses have you had this year?
That's it. Just the one. They bought me this one actually because they wanted a set that I could keep in my office so I wouldn't forget them and lose
When you
them.
get off the podcast, does Kara take the glasses and put them like in a case somewhere safe for keeping?
No, John, I'm a responsible adult. I can do that.
Did they come like
Myself.
that? Or
Key
did you
cards.
lend out
Who
yourself?
loses other people's stuff?
I think Brandon did that. But I actually have a key to my office. I just keep it in my office so that when I lock my door, I like grab my key and then lock the door and then leave. And in fact, the key that I got this morning to open my office, I left in my office. So I hope nobody locked
I
it.
just walked by. Brandon was like giving the door hell. He just like looked like he's trying to break it. You're just pacing in the other room. So
Well, it's one of those things where the way we have our build out done here, it doesn't seem like the most solid construction in the
No.
world. It doesn't seem that way. But that door is one of the most well hung doors that I've ever encountered in my life. There's
Well-hung
no
door.
gap for me to put like my.
Sealed.
I kind of chewed up my license today, like trying to jam it in
You're
there.
trying to like do like a movie style, like I'm gonna get through the lock with the
that
credit
never
card.
works. How does that
Yeah, with the
even
credit
work?
card.
That works all the time.
Is it supposed to like slide the locking mechanism in?
Like,
You got the latch so that when the door shuts, it pushes the latch in.
Okay.
And it works one way like that. But you can't push the door open once it's latched, but you can push a door closed when it's open, right? So what you do is you take the card, push it in from that direction, and it pushes the latch in. I'm
and
putting
you
the
just push
doorknob
the door
latch.
open.
Yeah.
You lost me now. Like
Oh, Blaine is so
first
lost.
sentence is like,
Blaine is so lost.
I just went with
The
it.
vacant look on your face really
I
sells
fucked up
that.
one of my cards over the winter when it was icing all the time. My windshield got real icy, and I went through my cards to see which one could I go without to scrape this ice off, and I used my Car2Go card.
Yup.
And fucked it up, and then I needed to use Car2Go like a couple
Immediately
months
after.
later, and it would not work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because that's like an RFID chip in that
yeah,
thing, right?
Yeah, it got fucked up pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm a pro at opening luggage locks because I used to work for a luggage store out back in the mall in Allen.
shit.
Yeah. So
What,
any
which place do you work for?
Samsonite.
Oh, really?
And every time somebody would come in, they'd do the Swami, Samsonite, like the Dumb and Dumber reference, and
God, you must
fucking
have
wanted
loved
to
that.
murder them. That was the shittiest job ever. But yeah, I got
had
really
the same
good
job,
at
by the way. I used to work at the Houston Trunk Factory, and it's now Bag and Baggage, which I think is a national chain. I used to sell luggage. I did it for 2 summers.
No shit.
Yeah.
Shit then con. Yeah.
Luggage
so
bros.
The thing about luggage bros. The thing about that is not a lot of people come in to buy luggage. So there's like hours at a time where nobody will come in, and I would just go in the back and I would sleep. I'd like take a shit. I'd be the only one on the job, but I would just do whatever
Like a 2-hour
in the back. it didn't matter because nobody would come in. I remember one time I came.
Hope there's a comma between
I
those
woke
two.
up with drool on my face, and I had been sleeping like this, and my leg was asleep. So I came out, and I heard that there was someone outside. They had been in there for like 15 minutes.
Nobody was there.
No one was there. And I was like coming out, like rubbing spit on my face. Hey, what's up? How's it going? I gave him like 15% off.
I went to
Did you really?
You're one
so you like
customer of the
steal
day.
from the company on top of that. Not only did I do a poor job that I'm being paid to do, but let's steal from the company
something
as well.
like that happened to me. I went to a Radio Shack last week for the first time.
Why?
I needed walkie-talkies.
They still exist?
Yeah,
Why?
Exactly.
Why do you need walkie-talkies?
It's a long story, but I'll tell you.
Are you a kid in a Spielberg movie? What the fuck?
So I go in there, and there are 2 people working there, and one person's like on their laptop watching something, and they look up and they're like, a person. And they're almost like, one lady was like, let me help you. And then the other guy was like, no, I got it. Like, they were fighting to like help me. And I was like, I just need walkie-talkies. They're like, well, here they are. I was like, yeah, just those ones. They're like, okay.
You know what they should do with
They were
Radio Shack?
miserable people.
They've kind of tried to move away from the Radio Shack brand. Like they did that commercial during the Super Bowl
Yeah.
where the 80s called. They wanted
Oh,
the store back.
yeah.
Such a crappy store. They made a good ad.
It was a great ad. It was a
it was
really
good.
great ad, but I don't think it mattered too much. They should just, I think it would be worth it for that company to just kill the whole brand and just use the retail locations they have in the same stores and all that and just make a new store. Like make something new.
Radio Hut.
Yeah. I'm just like,
Walkie-talkie
come up
Central.
with some brand
Like the
that
name
makes the
is
most
dead.
sense.
It's synonymous with a store that no one goes to.
I'm saying like don't even like make like it's a new competitor. Call it like a new
like a new
competitor.
product even.
A new competitor to Best Buy.
It's like
okay.
Yeah.
It's like in Mad Men when that lady had the dog food company, and people found out that they were using horse meat, and they were like, we got to change the name, otherwise you'll always be synonymous with horse meat dog food.
Yeah. I remember that episode, yeah.
I remember being in middle school and seeing a Radio Shack and be like, why the fuck is that still around? And like, what is it, like 8 years later? I'm like, they're still here? How are they clinging on to life? I don't understand.
I mean, listen. I think there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that aren't our age. Let's put it that way. I mean, I'm not your age already, but but there's people that like they've gone to Radio Shack their whole life and they'll continue to go to
How
Radio
did
Shack.
Circuit City go under so quickly and Radio Shack is just lingering?
That's crazy, yeah.
I don't know. I guess Radio Shack has a smaller footprint
Yeah.
than Circuit City had.
Yeah.
They kept it with small stores.
Gosh,
with
I remember
less
I bought
overhead.
What's the matter, Blaine?
it's fucking tight on my neck.
Blaine is
Too much neck muscle, man.
Blaine is unbuttoning his top button
Just
here.
flex and
Beer
it'll
too.
just rip.
It's part of the process. Audience.
I'm gonna get day drunk.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not
I'm
gonna
gonna
get
get
day drunk.
day drunk.
You didn't hear that? Founder of the company I work for.
I'm gonna get work drunk. Yeah, you already blew it when you said you were sleeping and giving out discounts because you were sleeping.
That was
taking
retail.
2-hour
It's
shits.
a different. Hey, those were the best kinds of shits.
At my job, I did something really stupid where there was a company-wide missive that went out because somebody had used the store phones because people were bored. They used the store phones to dial 1-900 chat lines, and that was a big deal. And if they found out who was doing that, and this has got to stop, and don't do it, and it went out to all the stores in our city, and I thought it would be funny. I was like 16.
Oh, God.
I thought it'd be funny. We have that list of emergency numbers that's right by the phone. Or
Yeah.
like here's the fire department, here's the mall security, blah blah blah. All that stuff. I added like Sean D, like 1-900 hot chick to it. Holy shit, that was a witch hunt trying to figure out who had done that. There's like 8 people that worked at the store, and our manager was like, "Who wrote this on there?"
Took you into a room one at a time.
Yeah. It's one of those moments too where it's like at first I thought the manager thought it was funny. I was like, oh, it was me.
You almost confessed.
Yeah, I almost took credit for my own firing.
That was the
What
fastest
did end up
U-turn ever.
happening to that? Did they find out or anything?
Yeah, they blamed it on somebody else at the store, and they were like, it was a guy who had a lot of problems, and like I was working with another guy, and he was like the assistant manager. He goes, yeah, we know it was, I don't even remember his name anymore. It was Bill, and yeah, this is the last straw with Bill, and I was like, okay, I did it. You know what I mean? 'Cause I
Oh,
couldn't.
you actually confessed.
Should have gone with
Yeah.
it.
Did you get fired?
Does that make me a saint that like I had to go all the way to the point of like somebody else being fired before I finally admitted it?
I guess it's better than not saying anything.
That
at
makes
all.
you not totally a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some redemption. Not a lot.
Yeah.
Bill totally deserved to be fired, but I just couldn't be the reason why he got fired for the wrong reason.
Great protagonist.
Yeah, me? Yeah, that's awesome.
What are some other shitty retail jobs that you've worked?
My first job was delivering subs for Blimpie, and I just learned that Jason Sudeikis had the same job, and he was talking. I saw some interview with him, and he was talking about like when you knew when you went to a office and you had $100 in subs that was going to be at least a $10 tip, and I was totally the same way. I can remember that mentality of like,
Oh yeah.
I got paid. We were just talking about minimum wage. I think when I started working, minimum wage was $3.35.
Wow.
That's what we were paid.
It was $5.25 when I started working at a grocery store. I was the dairy boy, but I got $6 because I was in a refrigerator all summer. So
Oh yeah.
75 cents extra.
75 cents
That
for
was
the
a
frostbite.
shit fucking
Yeah.
job.
Can't that fuck you up? Like breathing in cold air all the time like that?
I mean, I turned out normal, so you tell me.
As far as
It
you
was an
know.
entire like 5 months that I was in this fucking freezer, and I started going crazy. I would be the only one in there, so like they had the milk shelves lined up in a way that anybody that's up here couldn't see if like something was down on the ground. So I would see kids with their moms, and I would look through the glass, and I would like wave at the little kids.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then they'd be like, "Mom," and then I'd like scurry off to the back of the fridge, just like fucking.
Became like
people.
some sort of weird legend of that store, like the freezer guy, like up there with like Bigfoot and Loch Ness monster.
Hunchback of the frozen aisle.
I had shitty jobs, and then I worked at a toy store. So
That seems like a good gig. I worked at a video game store. I went from
That's
working
nice.
at Babbage's, which is now
Babbage's.
was
Wow.
bought by GameStop.
Yeah.
Or bought by, I guess, EB Games, which then became GameStop. But I went from working at Babbage's to Bag and Baggage, which was like
I got a bad.
Babbage's bag.
I worked at all the
baggage.
shittiest stores. I had like an overlap there where I worked at two places. at
Your
once.
resume was a poem. It rhymed. And
There's alliteration in my resume. Hey, do you
Bernie
know or
Burns.
my CV? For
I've got a weird random job that's pretty shitty that I did in college.
Hey, here's Clayton. He's on the mic.
Hey, finally using the new mic.
People who don't know Clayton, he does all the audio engineering for the podcast.
I should be in there right now, but I'm not.
So what is your weird job?
In
Clayton?
college, it's weird because it sounds like it would be an awesome job, but it's not. I was filming all day long on films, so I started working nights DJing at a strip club.
Nice.
But it was like the blue collar, like welders and construction
Dude,
workers
I went
strip
past
club.
one of these places yesterday. We were doing location scouting for Laser Team, and we needed some rural locations. I found like it looks like they redid a barn as a strip club. Nice. It's just like you know the
Just called it the barn.
you know the lady's silhouette that you see on the back of like semi-truck mud
truckers.
flaps. That was the symbol for this thing. I mean, there was no effort being
just
made.
blew
at
it
all.
up.
Stable
Well,
one,
this
Cindy.
this one was weird.
People won.
This one was weird because it was in Savannah, Georgia, and very much like, say, East Austin. It used to be in a place where it was like that, where it was like where only a few people went, but then the city expanded. So it was like in a strip mall shopping center, like next to a shoe repair and like a makeup shop. And so they had blacked out windows, and they couldn't have any sort of sign because that would like devalue the locations next to them.
just a crack house
Right.
looking
So
building.
it looked sketchy as hell, and it was
Yeah,
fun.
that
like
the
and-
blacked out building next to your liquor store is probably going to
Signless building.
Yeah.
But so you think it would be a great job, but you're there from 6 p.m. till at 4 a.m. No breaks because I'm the only
I don't
DJ.
think that would
so
be a
I had
great
to-
job.
I had to learn to pee between songs, like count down in my head. I'm like, okay, I got 1 minute and 30 seconds to go pee, and if there's a line, you're screwed. And you're like, oh, I think it'd be good. But all the girls were either drunk all the time or just drugged up crazy.
Well, shocking. I am surprised to hear that.
But so they would
Hard
just
to
come to the
leave.
booth. They'd be like, I don't want to dance to the song. And they'd be like really high. And you'd be like, well, you're supposed to be out there right now. And they're like, I'm not doing it. And my boss is looking at me like, get him on the stage. I'm like,
Did
I
you
don't know
ever
what
have
to
to
do.
dance for them?
no.
In their
but
place?
Sooner or later, my boss just thought I was great because I showed up on time and I wasn't drunk. So he was just like, just tell him to fuck off.
Do you,
You could have risen very high in that.
That's
that
the
line
standard.
Of words.
What low standards? You don't show up drunk. I appreciate that.
So do you have the strip club DJ voice?
Oh, absolutely.
Can you do like Blaine to the main stage?
Yeah.
Nick.
All right, everybody, up to the stage now. We've got Blaine, the man you've all been looking for, the muscle man from Texas, Blaine. Well, you guys out there in the audience, remember,
My face.
Thursday
Sorry,
is
Jordan.
military night. Come here back on Thursday.
singles
Bring
out.
your military ID. You get in for free, and drinks are half off. That's right, half off. We'll see you Thursday, but right now it's Blaine.
I don't have any cash.
I
Do
know.
you
I'm
take-
like I'm
Give me
reaching
your
right
ones.
now.
Just slide it through my butt crack.
There you go. There you go, Blaine. Here, I got 2 ones for you.
thanks, buddy.
There you go.
I'll take your money.
I'm not so distraught. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, first jobs are. What about you two guys? You guys?
I think the only really bad job I ever had was I worked at Hollister for a little while. And the crappy thing about that was like there was nothing ever to do, so literally you're just folding polos for about 6 hours.
What is Hollister?
Hollister, like the clothing,
It's the clothing
store,
company.
like with the half naked people all over the walls, all over the place.
Oh, those
like
are the ones-
Abercrombie.
Abercrombie's like
they're like
little stepbrother.
really dark stores, right?
Very dark store, loud music all the time.
Yeah.
Like no one goes in there at all. Like it's like usually empty except for like during Christmas, and so you're just folding clothes all day long, and time does not pass at all.
Blaine's got to get dressed now.
Listen, I think we can all relate, and I think a lot of people who are working can relate. You know when you have a job that you don't like when you're just staring at the clock. Like
Right.
when you're doing stuff like, you know exactly how long 15 minutes is.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, I'm just not going to look at the clock. I'm not going to look at the clock for an hour. And you're just like doing everything.
Somehow
like,
the clock goes backwards.
I know. And it's just like you look and you're just like, you can just feel your life like
Yeah.
draining away.
And the whole while you're thinking of how little you're getting paid for just standing there doing nothing.
No, screw that. I would count how much I would get paid for taking a shit. I would just be like,
How much
take
did-
that, Samsonite. Ha ha.
How much did that shit earn me?
Yeah, no, exactly. I would just tally it up.
So did you work at like a outlet mall?
Yeah, it's Allen Premium Outlets.
Okay, that makes sense.
And fucking shit, I hated that place. Every time I walk by, I flip it off. Like I just anytime I drive by, I flip it off in my car. I hate that place.
That is something I never understood. Is that, and this happened, I saw on Twitter, where there's a big online network that somebody left and quit their job there, and a bunch of other people who used to work there were like, good riddance. You know, it's like, yeah, see you later. Name of the company. It's like, glad you're leaving that sinking ship. And the dude was like, really good dude, really good guy. He was like, publicly said, it's like, you know, they hired us all when we were really young people and didn't have any experience, gave us a lot of opportunity. And I was like, I love this guy. It was Cwierz.
And now you're making me feel really bad.
No. But it's one of those things where it's like, I've worked at companies where people work there for a long time, and then the moment they leave, they're like, fuck that place and fuck everybody. It's like, you know, it's an opportunity, you know? It's what you make of it, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, now you should feel bad.
Yeah, that's all right.
I gave you my whole story before you felt
KB Toys went bankrupt. Well, and I was on the way out when that happened, and then I got hired at Samsung. Samsung, I don't know. It's all right.
Nice.
Do you burn bridges? Do you burn bridges?
No, I
No.
probably should more than I do. Honestly,
That's
I
an interesting
The
perspective.
fire
Yeah,
from the
because some
bridges
people
they
fuck 'em,
burn.
right? It's like not everybody is like they're not in your life forever because they were in it for 6 months. You know,
I think
Some people-
I think it's more important, especially when you're younger and you have no clout. Like because you should not burn bridges when you're younger.
Yeah.
And have nobody like batting for you. And you have like no portfolio or anything like to back up just to what you are. Like if you burn bridges that early on, you will have no references. You will have no one to be able to be like vouch for you.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So you're good. Just
You're fine though.
burn every bridge now, Bernie. You're good.
Yeah, now I'm at the point. Now I'm at the point in my career. It's like fuck everybody. It's like my way, the highway.
Really quick, I got to read this.
Read that.
Cooking and eating should be enjoyable, but if you're
Should be.
busy or health conscious or just don't know your way around a kitchen, it can be stressful. Ordering out is expensive and gets unhealthy fast. Cooking's a pain too. Finding and coming up with recipes, shopping for ingredients, dealing with leftover produce that goes to waste, forget it. You need Blue Apron to take the stress out of cooking. Here's how it works. For $9.99 per meal, they'll send the right ingredients in the exact right proportions with simple recipe instructions right to your door. Meals are 500 to 700 calories per serving, way too low for how delicious they are. Blue Apron includes step-by-step instructions with pictures. It's idiot-proof. They work around your schedule and your dietary preferences. Cooking takes about half an hour, and shipping is always free. You'll make meals like Mexican-style turkey burger, vegetarian roadside noodles, and more delicious meals. You'll cook incredible meals and be blown away by the quality and freshness. Blue Apron, fast, fresh, and affordable. End the stress of cooking right now. Go to blueapron.com/roosterteeth and get your first 2 meals free. That's right, 2 free meals just for going to blueapron.com/roosterteeth.
Did you say it was idiot proof?
I did.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I will fuck that up. I suck at cooking.
I watch what Blaine eats sometimes. Like the other day, Blaine.
You just watched Blaine the other day?
I just sit there, that's what it's my
Yeah,
job
window.
now.
It
I
happens.
just sit there and watch him. But the other day, I was watching him make his lunch. He had a full sleeve of saltine crackers, and then he had this like canned stew. Oh my god,
It's dog food.
It looked like somebody had already eaten it. Let's just put it that way. It was so horrible. And he undoes the lid. He has this like Tupperware bowl because he's gonna microwave it, and just goes. It's like the
It
noise
stays in the shape as it comes out.
Yeah.
It's bachelor chow. Remember that guy that did the monkey
Jesus.
food? That's exactly what it is. It's just like easiest thing to make. Brandon's over there. What does he want?
Wait, yeah. What's up with you, dude?
So I was on the podcast last week, and
Oh,
it was
boy.
this great moment where
Brandon
Gus,
Farmahidi,
Barbara, and
everybody.
Bernie were talking about how hard it was for them to schedule like a hangout together with Blaine, and I'm sitting there knowing
was.
that nobody invited me. Actually, I looked up that conversation that I've had with those people. Can we see it on screen?
Oh boy.
Jeez, he's got
He has a
evidence and everything.
PowerPoint presentation.
So, look at that. That's my conversation with Blaine, Burnie, Barbara, and Gus. So
it's
I'm
just
trying
one
to figure
smiley emoticon. That's it.
I'm trying to figure out what I have to do in order to get invited. So I was thinking I could take the Blaine approach and just show up and spend all my time on Tinder and talk about what girls are hot.
Yeah.
Blaine, would that be inaccurate?
No, I deleted Tinder long ago.
She's hot. She's hot. I could do the Gus approach and not want to be there because apparently there's something sexy about, the person who doesn't want to
I don't know, Brandon. I
It's a
tried
good
that
point.
a lot.
It's a good point, Brandon.
Barbara's just pleasant, which, I got no
not-
shot there.
Brandon
You're
is
not gonna do
reading these
that.
from a notepad. He
Yeah.
made notes of all these people.
And I also
Yeah,
have
you're
a
taking this
pen
way too seriously.
because I'm trying to find out what else I have to do here.
Wait, so there was last
Maybe-
week you guys talked about how it's hard to hang out with me? What is that?
No, I
They
don't
were
think
trying
he
to
said
hang out
that.
with Gus.
We talked about how hard it was to hang out with Gus.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the premise, was that we all went out to grab a drink, and I texted Gus and made sure that Barbara and Blaine also texted Gus to go out.
Yeah.
You were not included. I'm going to make this
Context.
even worse for you. This is how bad this was. I even thought, I should invite Brandon, and then I thought, no, he's busy working for me, basically. So I don't want to pull him out of the office because I want him to keep working. I literally thought that. That was my whole thought process.
So
on
anybody
it.
you asked, you didn't care if they kept working.
Oh, what are Blaine and Barbara doing? It's like 9 o'clock.
nothing.
Brandon is here. You're here too much, honestly.
Well, this is a busy season for us because we're finishing up the DVDs. When Blu-rays, we used to make one DVD, one disc. Now we make 4.
Yep.
So this is a pretty busy time for
What's
all
the
of
4
us.
DVDs we do?
Well, we do 2 DVDs and 2 Blu-rays.
Oh, okay.
And they're
Yeah.
all completely different. So it sucks because the animators are all hanging out by themselves and joking. And I have 2 offices to myself halfway across the building.
Brag about it.
And nobody who wants to hang out with me. I can't be like, oh, sorry, guys. I'm busy. I'm working. I just look at my phone and
Nothing.
there's
Brandon,
nothing but a emoticon.
We hang out, bro. We did the Disneys,
the brocation.
That was a good time, right?
Come on, man. I'll hang out with you. All right, it's actually funny because Brandon's girlfriend lives really close by me, and they've just opened up this nice little trail that people walk on. And I've gone running by Brandon apparently 2 or 3 times.
Never noticed him.
Never noticed, and he'd text me after. He's like, "You just ran by me."
Wow.
He ran by
What a
us
great
on,
guy
and his
Blaine
headphones, and it was really dark. But Paul and I were like, "Was that Blaine?"
I had my shirt
Or
off.
is
That
that,
is the main
is that just
indicator.
what bros look like at night?
Dude, everybody, you run down by the lake, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody who runs at the lake has their shirt off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
But
I've learned why that is.
What's that?
Because it's impossible to take off a shirt after you've been running.
Oh,
It takes me 10
'Cause it just-
minutes.
it
It takes me
bonds
10
itself
minutes to
to
get a
you.
shirt. Ashley laughs at me when she watches me get out of shirt. When I get back from the gym and I try to get out of a shirt, it's
impossible.
It's just ridiculous.
There's also beautiful women down there with dogs. So
You trying to show up for the dogs?
what's
Yeah.
the dog's part? What's the dog's
dogs
part?
too?
get that
no.
part.
Brandon made a good point. He said, if you ever see a girl, you need to fake a leg cramp and then go
No.
talk to them about their dog. And I was like, well, I'd be have a broken leg.
I
by
never
now.
get a girlfriend?
said leg cramp, but no, a first conversation about a dog is golden.
Are you guys
Oh,
characters
that's a
from
really
Rom
cute
Coms?
dog. That's like
Yeah.
a good first. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna just
what's
stop
the leg
somebody and
cramp?
say,
Yeah, you could just
"Hello,
stop and talk
my
to
name
them.
is Brandon."
You're so beautiful. You made my leg cramp.
I never said anything about a leg cramp. I'm not a leg cramp guy.
John Cusack is going to play Brandon in the romantic comedy about his life.
Hey, baby, got any electrolytes? I'm all bound
banana.
up over here. Well, I'm sorry. Listen, the reason, let me go down the list. First of all, yes, Gus has got that on lock. The fact that he never goes out anywhere means that I ask him to go out places, which makes no fucking sense because he always tells me no, 100% of the time. The opposite is Barbara, Barbara's like the go-to. Barbara and Jack, well, Jack's married now, but Barbara and Jack were always the go-to for me of I'm going out somewhere with 5 minutes notice. Barbara and Jack, if they're not doing anything, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they'll show up 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
They're awesome about that.
Yeah.
I also should point out, I messaged John.
You did.
I don't even have John's phone number.
Well, now I feel bad. Let me see the last thing Burnie texted me was.
Bernie, I'm
But I didn't see it till the morning, so I didn't get to go. So
Oh, wow.
I'm 4 for 4 on our hangouts. John is 0 for 1 or 2.
Yeah, I am. I was actually really bummed.
How far down do I have to scroll
Blaine
to
is
find a
actually
text from
Blaine and I have
Burnie?
been shooting a lot of shorts together. I've been spending way more time with Blaine than just about anybody else.
It's the best times ever, right, Bernie?
We're having a great time, bro. It's fun.
Is this what it's like hanging out with Blaine?
It's not like that.
It is absolutely like that.
You stop.
Brandon is motioning on Twitter or Tinder. Swiping left and right. Absolutely. When Blaine hits the backseat of the car, it's just instantaneously. Sorry. He's like, and you get the commentary too. A lot of talent on Tinder today. That being said,
A lot of talent on
he
Tinder.
hasn't been doing that
Wow.
the last month or so.
Hey, and you know what? I just got a tweet from 2
very
people,
happy.
and they were like, hey, I met my boyfriend, or hey, I met my girlfriend, I think it's the same couple, on Tinder, and we have you to thank because you made us aware of this app. So
You know what the line is there? You get 10% of any kids.
The reference.
No, you get 10% of like the kids' income from that union. I say that if you get married, if you meet on the roosterteeth.com website, if those people get married, there's been a lot of marriages.
Some sort of tax.
Yeah. 10% of that kid's lifetime income.
I'll go collect.
It's tithing. It comes back this way. Brandon, I love you very much. And I'm very sorry, but I know you're very busy this time of year, and I don't want to distract
So
you.
you should probably go back to work.
See you later, Brandon.
Otherwise, I'll have to do it.
I'm gonna study this.
I love you.
Brandon, we'll hang out this weekend.
Speaking of those DVDs, it's that time of the year where like there's a certain part of the office that I don't want to go to because of how haggard looking some people are.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
kind
real
of
sad.
smelly.
Let's get Miles.
And
He's the poster child.
like I
isn't
walked
he?
by and like basically everyone's just in their pajamas and like laying around. It's like
It's
I
reached
don't
that-
wanna go over
It's
there.
reached that point where I walked by and I saw that they just looked like death.
Yeah.
And then I was like, did you guys have a sleepover last night? Like trying to be super
they
optimistic.
just go,
they're like,
no humor.
And they're like, yes.
Yeah.
Just zero humor.
Yeah.
So then I started going around and pep talking him and I was like giving Miles a massage. I was like, let's go RVB team. Let's do this. And then like Miles was like, looked at me dead in the face.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't care.
he's like, I will break your neck. Like
Just
he
be
was
like,
so not happy.
Go away.
There he is.
Yeah, there's Miles. Miles of everyone, I think, looks the roughest.
Yeah.
Normally, because
The
it's
beard.
like it's probably because I remember meeting Miles when he was a young
And had
young and
fresh-faced
fresh and full of
college
life.
student. It's like I was trying to think like what was one of the first things that we were in together. Like I went back and I was going through all of our shows at the company, and you were on one of the very first recaps. And I saw you, and I was like, "Look at that! Look how happy and like full of energy Miles is." And
Well, this is
now-
what happens when you come to work for Rooster Teeth.
That happens.
Yeah. Miles, what's it like living on the streets now?
You just find a nice little dark spot where
Yeah.
nobody will steal your stuff or cut you, and you're fine. You're good to go from there.
Under the bridge on Congress.
Who let this
Yeah,
homeless
more
man
like
in here?
above the no in their bunk bed.
So they worked in a space that looked like
the back alley of the office.
it was like Equipment Alley. It was like, I have to admit, it was pretty shitty. And Meg and Joey and Ashley were working there, and they kept saying, we would like to kind of spruce up our area a little bit. And we got a really awesome guy who works with us now. His name is Marcus Laporte. This guy is fucking
Marcus is
awesome.
great.
We all
Fucking
love him.
Love Mark.
He's a
Yeah.
Dude's the
superhero.
shit.
He's a production
Yeah.
designer. He's a sets guy. He's a prop guy. Like an art director essentially,
Yeah.
but he does a lot of different jobs here. And one of the best things he does is like he'll say, "Oh, this area looks like shit in the office. I don't have anything to do today. How about if I just
Yeah.
spruce this up?" He changed our kitchen,
Yeah.
which was okay.
It was
but
the tiki hut.
A little Florida-y, a little Florida-esque.
yeah, it was
yeah.
it was rough. It was like a
Cabana.
Tahiti hut. Was that?
We called it Nam because on the other side is where we work in the parlor, and all we saw was bamboo.
Right.
So we wanted to put up like a bunch of like POW signs.
But he completely changed that kitchen in like one weekend.
It's
and,
awesome.
and now everybody loves it.
It was it was like Fridays, like all right, leaving the Florida hut, and then like we came in, I was like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It was so nice.
Yeah,
Do
it
we
was
have
really
pictures
cool.
of that out?
Yeah, we'll put it in the linked up so people can see pictures
It's
of
so
it.
pretty.
Can we
now.
get him on my office because it's
I grabbed him
pretty
from my
shitty.
office. He was over in the bungalow, and I was like, "Marcus, come here!" And I had him like,
I think
give me
he's
some
working
shelves and stuff.
I think he's working on
I don't
live
even have a
action now.
lamp in my house.
Well, I know we're having the same discussion with Miles we had with Brandon. I know you're very, very busy. You guys are. How long have you been in crunch for RVB?
I don't remember.
The more important question is
There's no windows.
What
There's
is the-
nothing
We've
in here
been,
to
we've
know
been in
what
crunch
day is.
for probably it was before they redid the kitchen. I don't know. I don't really remember last week. It's getting pretty wild. I don't know. But we can see the light at the end of the tunnel now, which is really nice.
When's the last time you showered?
Monday. I'm gonna go home
right.
and as soon as we lock the episode that we're working on, I'm gonna
Please.
shower, nap for a few hours, and
Monday,
then come back.
I'm gonna go home.
One day.
This is Wednesday.
I know
Just
you.
for
Jesus,
Yeah.
is today really winter?
Yeah, you've been parked in the same spot since like.
I noticed that the other day. Like I went outside to see the sun, and and I was like, "Oh man, I still got this parking spot right in front of the door, and I haven't had to go to my car once. I'm an asshole."
I hate the sun.
It's
so overrated.
Yeah.
Coming
it's
out-
weird. It's weird. We get the casino effect working here.
Yeah.
because there's
Yeah,
no windows or anything,
exactly.
so you'll go out and be like, "What is this?"
You're always surprised by the weather when you go out. Like, it could be raining and you
It
didn't
rained
notice
yesterday. I
it.
was like, "Oh." Yeah, it was
To
great.
me, there's some weird combination of sleep deprivation and sunlight that is one of the worst feelings in the world to me. Like if you're up all night drinking or you're out partying and you make it through to where dawn where the sun comes up, that feeling of the sunlight hitting you, that's exactly what it must be like to be a vampire all the time.
Yeah.
It's like sunlight at noon when you're like on the river, awesome. Like dawn sunlight when you've been up all night, you're like
Sunlight at noon on the river, bullshit. I'm not gonna get into it because they would kill me.
Miles,
but
thanks, dude.
Thank you.
look
Bye
great.
bye.
Love you, Miles.
We'll put a
Love
picture
you.
of Miles linked up.
we had a shoot over the weekend for a show that's coming up, and basically, long story short, we were trying to be incognito for the shoot. There was a 5-person crew. And by the end of it, we were all shirtless because it was so fucking hot out. I think Brandon took a picture, but like, yeah, it was hell.
That being said, you've been in Austin for what, 4 years? I don't know if you spent all your summers here. John, how long you been in Austin?
This is I'm a little over a year.
A little over a year.
Yeah,
okay.
I started last summer.
Man, John, you came to Austin for one of the best summers ever.
This summer?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
summer.
it's been
Wow.
pretty mild.
I'm concerned because it's been getting hotter, and I think it's going to go into October, into the hundreds. I think it's going to be a long summer. That was pre-summer.
You were luck because rain is coming through. There's a whole front coming through that's gonna like just douse us.
It's going to make it hotter.
It rained the other day.
Rain just makes it hotter.
This has been a
rain's
great
great.
year.
Yeah.
Great year in Texas.
You ever go to
Yeah.
the Greenbelt?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm right there. I live
Oh,
right by
that's
the
right.
Greenbelt.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical. I don't believe it.
It's like bone dry now. There's this place that's Greenbelt. It's like dried up riverbeds, and like if you go out there like now when it's just been sunny, it's just like rocks and that's it. But if you go out there after it's rained, it's like filled and people go swimming.
It's not the Greenbelt. It's just a belt at this point.
Oh really?
I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, but
what the locals call it.
there's a big like swatch of they call it the green belt, but if anybody else in the world looked at what we call trees in Texas, they're basically like big cedar bushes. Really,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean it looks nice from a distance, but then when you get in the middle of it, they're just awful.
I went for a hike there on Sunday, and I went alone. And apparently, that's not a normal thing to do, and everybody's giving me shit for it.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I just went for a hike, like just went out.
People on the green belt were giving you shit?
No, like friends, like they
this
were like, "Oh,
loser.
what'd you do this week?" And I was like, "Oh, I went for a hike on the Greenbelt." And they're like, "Oh, who'd you go with?" I was like, "Well, just went with myself." And they're like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Are you
fine."
okay?
Yeah, I was like,
Did the Incredible Hulk Walking Away song play the entire time you were out there?
Here's what I absolutely guarantee is that all the people that gave you shit for going also wouldn't have gone with you. If you'd called me and said,
Yeah.
let's go hike on the Greenbelt, I'd go, dude, I'd love to do that. Man, but I'm like, I feel like I'm like out.
Yeah.
I'm like super busy
I'll go
doing
hiking
something.
with you.
That's a good
110
point.
outside.
Let's go, Jordan.
let's go fucking
Let's go
hiking.
this weekend.
Let's do it.
It's freaking nice. Although I went out there and I reached a point where it was all greenery and there's a little bit of water and I was like, oh wow, this is really nice. This is tranquil. And then I saw a fucking snake and I was like, all right, time to go home.
Nature sucks.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
I was like, fuck this.
I'm outside.
It's like 2 foot long. I hated it.
Yeah.
One of the locations
Fucking hate
we were
snakes.
looking at for Laser Team this week, that's one of the questions I asked is like, because we're in the middle of a field and I was like,
Snakes.
got many snakes out here? He's like, why do you ask? It's like, because I don't want to fucking step on a snake. Or I don't want to have a crew out here with snakes. It's something you got to be concerned about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you see? What kind of snake?
I don't know. It was like 1.5 to 2 foot long, and I can't remember if it was like brown. I think it was brown, maybe green. I
have
think
a
it was brown. Pretty sure it was brown.
Oh, this is riveting.
It's either an alligator or Godzilla.
I just remember like breathing in, and then I just heard this like rustling in the bushes, and I looked over, and I was like, "That's a fucking snake." I ran.
I want to note that when Blaine talks about himself breathing in, he puts his hands on his hip like it's a heroic pose. I'm just like, I imagine Blaine in the middle of a field with his hands on his hip staring, this is breathing, and then a fucking snake rolls up. It sounds like a biblical story. And that's how Mexico was founded. Yeah, another guy I met with this week, we were talking about some other film opportunities, and I was meeting with a guy. I can't say a lot, but it was a film. It looked really, really cool, and it was shot like down on the border of Mexico.
Okay.
And when I was even talking with this guy, I was saying like one of the locations was a border town I used to go to all the time when I was in college.
Yeah.
We just walk across the bridge and go drink there because you could drink when you were under 21. And I said, I kind of had to ask. I said, he's a Mexican kid himself, or at least of Mexican heritage. And I was like, so you're gonna go into Madame Morris and gonna go film some stuff there? And he's like, no. Well, he was like, absolutely not.
Why not?
Just like cover it. Because it's just like it's the border towns along Texas and Mexico border and California, Mexico, they're just completely different now. Yeah. I mean, it's just like it's a different world
compared to what? To like 10 years ago?
Yeah, compared to like 10 or 20 years ago.
I went to Mexico like 2 years ago, and I went to Guadalajara, and it's a lot safer there than
that's
near
interior
the border.
Mexico.
Yeah, that's like in the middle of Mexico.
It's like better if you get further down into Mexico.
Yeah, you want to go.
Talking about the border.
You want to get away from
towns
the
are
border
rough.
towns.
Yeah.
Border towns can be really rough, and you just don't know.
I want to go.
Well, he talked about. He said, yeah. Some of them seem like ghost towns now because all the college kids don't go down there anymore. Mm-hmm. He said, but senior citizens still go. They don't give a fuck. They're fearless.
Kidnap me, you son of a bitch.
I'm on my way out. Who cares?
Fuck you. Take my kidneys. They're worthless.
It's like you try to get kidnapped. They're like, what?
Give me all your money.
Ransom.
What do all old people sound like Gilbert Gottfried to you?
So what age do you think that takes place?
What? When you just don't give a crap?
Just done.
I'm looking forward to that age. Like, I'm really looking forward.
41.
41. Jesus.
I don't know.
I'm right there.
How old was I 2 years ago?
You're checking out.
There is a point where it's like stuff that was really important to you 10 years ago just doesn't matter at all. And I guess you just build up an entire life of that.
So there's like a period of time where it's like you give a shit, but it's like 1 up to, I'd say, 23? You don't really give a fuck. And then once you hit like, 70? You don't really give a shit?
How can you say that? When I was in my teenage years, I gave a shit about a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
that I don't care about.
Fired
now.
up about everything you think of.
I wonder if it's cyclical too. Like you come back around when you're an old person, you're like, I need all my toys. Like I care about my toys.
I can say I'm the exact opposite. Hey, Monty's here too. Monty, jump on there. I want to say something to you. I'm the same. I'm that way now, where it's like I spent like most of my 20s building stuff up. Now I'm just like I don't want anything. I don't want. The fact that I can get all stuff digital and all that stuff, like people put like knickknacks and shit on their desks. I'm like,
I fucking hate knickknacks.
I hate it.
That's just clutter.
Yeah.
I see Chelsea over
What's
there.
the age you get when you're okay with just like peeing anywhere? Or like old men just like they'll just pee on a wall anywhere.
Whoa. Let's go back to that story in a second. That'll tie in nicely with my locked out of my office story. Oh, jeez. Hey, Monty, what's up, man?
What's up?
What are you doing? Another guy who's in crunch, Monty Ohm.
Hi,
yeah,
Monty.
but see, crunch for me is like, it's like constant. It's like I know how to do it. I've been doing it for years. It's like you just got to.
It's a warm blanket.
Steady ride all the way out, and it's not like as soon as. Next
Yeah, but this
week.
is crunch with deadlines. That's a little bit different. Yeah.
Monty, how many times do you microwave that cup of coffee?
It's like the 4th time. I mean, it's all right.
Monty and I talk a lot about, as I'm sure most of you know, Monty Ohm here is the creator of Ruby.
Oh, is he?
Lead animator for it. Hey, just letting people know, John. Give me that. It's part of the job.
You want my last beer?
I want it.
Monty and I talk a lot about like limitations of like when you can do anything, you feel like you should do everything.
Yeah.
So like limiting what you do. And the other big thing with artists is deadlines, because if you don't have a deadline on something, you'll just work on something forever because you can always make it better.
Yeah.
Man, speaking of paranoia, were any of you guys up for when the internet went out like nationwide last night?
Oh, for the Time Warner outage.
I was like, Skynet's taking
This is
over.
from LA to
Panic
New
mode.
York.
It was
Really?
like LA,
Houston,
Chicago, a lot of like the southeast.
Fucking everywhere.
No, actually, I'm really glad I was not awake for that, because the fact that it happened in the middle of the night would have freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, if I was gonna attack the nation, I would shut off our eyes and ears first, that kind of thing.
What are the eyes and ears of the nation?
Morbid.
to you?
I mean, just the internet, right? I mean, let's be able to communicate.
BuzzFeed.
Eyes and ears of Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's the thing. The only thing I had was Twitter at that point, because like my Sprint was fine. It's just like Time Warner Cable went under, and it was a complete blackout, and I was just being old and cynical. I'm
I
like,
still don't have
I'm
internet.
being
in my
old.
house,
We're all
so-
talking about being old and cynical
I'm gonna
now.
die.
I got really worried when I moved here to Austin because I had a friend when I was back in California that was my apocalypse he was the guy I was going to go to when shit went down, and now I'm here in Austin in a major city, which is like the place you're not supposed to be if like the apocalypse happens.
Really?
You're like when you're like heavy population areas and all that kind of stuff. So now I'm out here and I got no plan whatsoever.
You're south enough that I think you'd be okay.
Yeah, I
Just
think
I'll come over.
Yeah.
We
We got
can
a
go
lot-
down to Buda.
We got lots of guns here.
great. So when people are
lot of
freaking
Nerf
out about
darts.
everything, everyone has a gun. Perfect.
I mean, you just gotta have a plan. Like my plan is grab all the portable batteries that are here, take the truck, go south to what's that place with all the guns? The camping store?
Cabela's.
Yeah, go to Cabela's.
yeah.
You don't think anybody else is going to go to Cabela's though?
Jeez, that
Yeah,
place
but I'll
will
have
be
a
packed.
truck. Well, I guess a lot of people have a truck.
lot of
I'll be the
people
one who
around that Cabela's have
I'll be
trucks.
up at 3
You'll be the
a.m.
one in
and the one
Texas
who
with a
thinks of it
truck.
first.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. Actually, was there was a point in time when I think it was SARS was getting big, and I thought, ooh, I don't know where this is going. And it's weird because you never hear about SARS anymore. But I bought for my family. I bought like enough food for 2 months.
That was Y2K for us.
Wow.
Y2K for you?
Y2K was like my family bought water and some canned goods and that kind of thing.
Did you hear about the dude who just came out of hiding from
Right,
Y2K?
like 30
Bullshit.
years or
That's
something?
No, dude just came out.
Oh, what, from Y2K? I thought you were
Story.
talking about the hermit that got arrested.
That's the dude.
I thought he was in there for like 30 years. Or was it only for like 14 years?
Holy
I mean,
shit.
Y2K was a long time ago at this point.
Y2K was 14 years ago.
That's what I'm
so-
saying. Y2K was not that long ago, 30 years. It was 14 years
I'm
ago.
gonna double
That
check
reminds
here.
me of, like,
Man
the,
emerges from bunker 14 years after Y2K
okay.
scare.
Wow.
This actually was a dude
And
who
he got arrested because he stayed, like, he stole everything. That's how he, like, survived. He stole everything from campsites.
So now he's basically
Would
just
he-
going to lead the same life, but in jail.
Did he have 14 years of supplies, or would he have to go out and steal?
No,
and
he
go
went
back?
out, and that's what they said. They said he would steal from other campsites.
He didn't bother to like pick up a newspaper.
I think he said...
What do you
he
mean a
said-
newspaper?
Yeah, he probably would be confused at the fact that there are no newspapers.
Right, that's an indication of Y2K is going because they're not printing newspapers
Did he
anymore.
stay hidden because he was still worried about Y2K, or just because he wanted to stay a hermit?
I didn't read a lot about it. I didn't read a lot about it.
You're
I
a
call
headline
bullshit
reader.
on that story.
What do you mean? Did he just made that shit up?
Yeah. Dude, 14 years this guy didn't come out
Yeah.
to reach civilization.
That reminds me of the Japanese soldiers who would were still in like the
On the
jungle
islands.
on the islands.
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah, but
World War
those are
II was
people
I
still
who-
believe
going
that.
on.
I
Those are
would-
people
yeah.
who like went in when technology didn't exist that
Yeah.
you could like take with you to keep
Yeah.
up with what's happening in the
Exactly.
world.
Can you imagine? It'd be like aliens coming to take you away. It'd be like, what is this? Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
a Brendan Fraser movie, Blast from the Past.
It's a great movie. It's Brendan Fraser. Dropped off the map after Mummy.
Yeah.
All right, well, Monty, thanks for stopping by.
Yep.
Go make some-
Wrapping up animation right now. Yeah.
You're going to PAX with us. Anything you want to see at PAX? I mean, this will air after we go to PAX. What are you looking forward to?
Hotel food.
All right, hotel food. There we go. That we
Yeah.
can deliver. All right.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I just messaged Jack too because I want to talk to Jack that he was in San Francisco
During
Oh, earthquake.
during an earthquake. Yeah, him and Katie
That's a big
and
deal here,
Ashley
right?
were there.
Like people like look forward to like experiencing an earthquake someday.
Specifically Gus.
Gus, yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually been in one. I was in E3 like 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and there was a minor, like a 3 or 4 earthquake in LA.
I've been
Which is
in
pretty
Did you freak
minor,
out?
right? No, I was pretty excited.
What was your reaction?
They're fun.
I was like, oh, cool, that was an earthquake.
Yeah.
And I've never been in one.
Jordan, you're a California guy, right?
Yeah.
So you've like grown up like used to earthquakes. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, they're totally fun. My mom would always freak out, but I would always be like, woohoo!
Yeah,
The
you-
ground's shaking.
Earthquakes, I like earthquakes. I can deal with. Like you get used to it. You sleep through most of them when you grow
Yeah.
up in California. What freaks me out here is like the tornado stuff.
Oh, tornadoes? I was about to say that.
I don't think-
Completely used to them.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Blaine, how long were you in Oklahoma?
I was until I was 6. While I was there, though, I went to the storm.
That's tornado country.
That's
I went to
Yeah.
storm shelter. I can't even remember how many times. There was like one time where I remember very specifically. We were at my grandpa's house. It was like a big family thing. And we went in the shelter and we were there for pretty much the entire night. The tornado just passed right over us.
awful.
And
And it was exciting, but I was scared at the time. But like thinking back, I was like, oh, tornadoes.
We had
Yeah.
a serious like tornado warning just recently a little bit when we were having those storms. Like the most serious that's happened since I've been here. And I was like trying to think of who to text. And I was trying to think of people who've been here forever. So I was texting Jack. And he was like, I was like telling him, what should I be looking forward to? And he's like, if you hear the sound of a train, then you're in trouble. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, are trains gonna be flying around or something? Like, is that what happens? He's like, no, that's the sound it makes when it's like getting really serious. But I was so freaked out. I didn't know what that meant.
Oh, it's supposed to be door.
I didn't know what that meant. Like when you hear the sound of a train, get to the hiding. Like
It's
what?
bathtub, right? Bathtub's the secure
The
place.
train is the
Yeah,
alarm.
they always say bathtub. It's also a smaller room, but it also seems like one of the rooms that has the most amount of glass in it with mirrors and stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems dumb. I remember when I was in high school, I covered a huge tornado that hit North Texas, and they just got fucking demolished. Like, it seemed like a really shitty time.
Where do you go to hide in a house when there's an earthquake?
I have a bathroom underneath my stairs. It's a tiny little bathroom, but it's underneath the stairs, no windows, and it's like the center of the house.
That's a good spot.
This door frame, wasn't it?
Under the
Also-
stairs.
also door frame.
Yeah, door frame. Under
Yeah.
the stairs is typically good because stairs might stay up.
That was
if they don't, you got to have a little bit of a problem. On your
Yeah.
hands.
That was a common chant though. Get to the door frames.
Yeah, they always
my
said that about
house.
earthquakes to get to the door frame, but then I thought I heard later on it's like the door frames was like almost like a wives' tale. Like if you go in a door
Yeah.
frame, you're not really that protected very much. Like
there was this Animaniacs song that they did all about how earthquakes are in LA, And I think one of the lines in the song is "Get to the doorway, get to the door frame."
Well,
What
Van
was,
Maniac
like,
said it.
Growing up in the Cold War with nukes hanging over your heads.
Yeah.
Remember what that was like? Drop.
That must have been constant pressure.
Bernie, tell us what that was like.
Well, I didn't know that was in my life. Listen, when I was
20-year-old.
I was in school. I was in school in the '80s, and that's when there was this movie that came out called The Day After, and it was like, Patrick just did the other thing. Everybody knew this. It was like, this is back when there was a huge explosion of the expansion of media in the late '80s. Like up into the late '80s, there was 4 TV networks, and really there was only 3. There was ABC, CBS, and NBC in the U.S. Then they added Fox, and then they added like 10 billion other fucking networks. I just took my kids to an exhibit that's down at the Bob Bullock Museum here in town.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all 60s technology.
Right.
And just looking at the TV, the most fascinating thing to me about it was the kids were like, oh, wow, it's in a cabinet. It's like a big wooden thing with a tube and all that. It's like crazy to them. And I was like, look at the dial. The dial is has huge numbers on it of just like just 13 possible tune-ins. I go, wow, only 13 channels. I go, there wasn't even that.
Yeah.
There wasn't even that.
I had a TV. Like I remember when I was really young, we had like a small TV like that had only like a few dials on it, and not every one like 6 went to like fuzz, like nothing.
You know, it's even crazy to think about too how much media there is today just from like 20 years ago. Is that the movie Poltergeist? JJ was watching it in his office. I think it might be coming up on Screenplay eventually. And I was saying, JJ, that movie the premise of that movie wouldn't make any sense today because TV networks went off the air at like 1 a.m. They played the national anthem and then they would go to static. And that in Poltergeist is a big device for communicating with the other world.
Ghost, yeah.
And it's like now we have 400 channels. They don't ever go off the air.
Well, they don't even see TV snow anymore. Like if something's not connected to your TV, what do you see? You see like a black or a blue screen.
Yeah.
Like you don't see that snow like that.
Dude, I got Matt. I was telling this on the podcast earlier, but I got Matt an old TV to run a Super Nintendo or a Nintendo 64 for a game we used to play back when we lived together. We used to play Ken Griffey baseball. I set up this huge tube TV that I got in his office, turned it on. I forgot what that experience was like. I turned it on and went, and all the hair on my arms stood up.
All the static.
That can't be good for you.
Yeah, that's cancer.
It's just electrons being fired directly at your face, and the only thing stopping it is a little piece of glass. That's all it is. That's all that's going on there.
Yeah.
All right, really quick, I got to read another thing. Is there anything worse than buying razors? You got to remember that you need them in the first place. You got to sit in traffic to the store. You got to find that locked plastic fortress they keep them in. Then find the one guy with the key, and he's in the back texting his girlfriend. After all that, it's going to set you back $25. Never do it again. Join DollarShaveClub.com. For a few bucks a month, DollarShaveClub.com delivers the world's best razors right to your door. DollarShaveClub.com is so much smarter than going to the store. Their plans start at just $3 a month. Signing up takes just 2 minutes. Then sit back and blades arrive like clockwork. Their razors are better than the big shave companies for a fraction of the price. You can shave with a fresh blade every week. No membership fee, no commitment, and they have a money-back guarantee. You have nothing to lose by trying them out. Stop trudging to the store for overpriced razors. Join DollarShaveClub.com/roosterteeth. That's DollarShaveClub.com/roosterteeth. And I'm actually a member. I signed on immediately the first time I ever saw that ad that they made, that viral video they did.
That was good.
And it just made sense to, like, I signed on. It's fantastic. My wife even uses the razors.
Which I love that they're a sponsor of the podcast and that we have ad reach for them, but I've always said you should go watch that ad because it'll make you love that company.
Yeah.
It's just Dollar Shave Club. It's a YouTube ad. It's fucking hilarious.
That ad was literally the only reason I signed up, was just seeing that, and like I was like, all right, this seems simple.
Yeah. Their founder CEO dude just seems like a really good dude.
Yeah.
Seems like a good company culture.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that there was a movie called like a ABC movie or whatever, this movie of the week or whatever the hell they called it on TV, which was a beer handoff.
Yeah, saw that on the camera.
Thanks, bro.
It was a movie of the week, and it was called The Day After, and it was about what would it be like if a nuclear strike happened?
Yeah.
And like it was a big event, and everybody watched that program, and the next day at school, everybody was like this: "We're all gonna fucking die."
Terrifying.
We're all It was like a little mini series or something, and it was awful.
I remember the day, like I had a moment like that when I was a kid. I remember when you had science class and talking about like the space and the solar system and everything. And the day a teacher told me that someday the sun is going to die, is going to explode, and the universe is going to be gone. And even though they said it's like forever away,
Thousands
like
of years.
I was scared to death. I'm like, I'm going to see the death of the sun. We're all going to die. That's it. And it just scared me and gave me nightmares for forever.
How the fuck did I remember that was an ABC television network thing?
There's a book called The Last Babylon. It's one of my favorite books, but it's about Russia attacking us with nukes and stuff. It's pretty unique concept. It's kind of like zombies. I kind of get excited about it in a little.
Well, the thing that always worries me is like there are some like apocalyptic scenarios which are just like that's never gonna happen.
Right.
What's
that one to you? Like zombies?
There's not gonna be zombies or anything like that, or there's not gonna be like Mad Max.
But what
or
about like
shit.
if
Fucking
Waterworld.
I would totally be Mad Max.
or Waterworld? That's not
those
gonna
things
happen.
I would say, but what about like the zombie idea of like the whole like rabies or viral like making people go crazy kind of infection thing?
No, I think it's more likely we'd have just like a Spanish flu, like the flu of 1917.
Something just
a
killed people.
pandemic, that wipes out where 2 people that die. Like everybody knows at least 2 people who died just by sheer statistics of it. But like the weird one is like the more sci-fi you get is like the sun thing or like aliens landing on the planet tomorrow and suddenly we're at war with an alien race. That's literally something that it is wild science fiction, but it actually could happen. It is on the scale of probability.
It's
very
it's in
low.
the possible column.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
You'd actually like that?
I like apocalyptic scenarios. Like those are some of my favorite
you just
movies.
want to be in one?
Yeah, I even have like an apocalypse kit at my house. It's a backpack, and I got like a hatchet and like a duster, So I'm gonna be like the cowboy that like strolls into town.
You made a motion when you said duster that made me think of like a skirt that you were wearing.
I got the duster.
You really so part of your apocalypse kit is your wardrobe? Like
Absolutely.
Hey man, you gotta look cool.
That's like the
Why are
you only
you
got like
surprised?
one outfit to wear.
And then what's gonna happen is Blaine's gonna put on the duster, get the apocalypse kit, walk out his door, and get killed by somebody who actually is gonna
He's
survive.
gonna do that pose with his hands on his hips.
He's gonna
and breathe in.
Let's do this.
Here's what all your preparation is going to lead to. It's going to lead to this conversation that somebody else has going, hey, where'd you get that duster? It's like, I killed a guy.
What
Is this from the day after?
Oh, yeah. Patrick has some stuff from the day after up, I think,
He did.
on the video.
iMovie.
Yeah, it was just like how it happens. I remember one of the guys, I think Jason Robards was in it. But like one of the things that happened, or maybe Henry Fonda.
Talk about like apocalypse things, like the show that's on TV right now, The Leftovers. That's like an end of the world kind of thing, sort
Is
of.
anyone watching that?
I am.
Nah.
I've watched all 9 episodes so far.
They're rebooting Left Behind with Nicolas Cage too.
What do you mean Left Behind? That
Well,
the
the
novel
Rapture.
series?
The Rapture.
Yeah. That was a huge novel series. I think it's like 8 books.
Yeah.
That like they sold really well because there's a huge Christian community
market,
in the U.S.
I read the prequels. Yeah.
And the movies they made didn't do that series justice. People love that series a lot. It's a story about the rapture and then basically the rise of like the Antichrist during the rapture.
Well, like the premise of like The Leftovers is like, it seems like it would be something along those lines, but they immediately denounce it. Basically denounce that it's not that kind of a scenario.
Like right away, they're like,
Yeah.
it's not this.
Something else happened.
Okay.
You know what, though? I think that's a holdover from the popularity of Lost, where there's this feeling that you have to stay ahead of the audience. And even if you're going to tell a compelling story that has a logical conclusion, you got to make the end a mystery. Like, what is it and all this stuff.
Well, that's, I think, a little bit of the way that Damon Lindelof writes, is that he loves to cause more questions than answers. And I think if you like accept that that's the way he likes to write, then that makes more sense of why the shows are like that.
Is this a Lindelof show?
It is.
Yeah. Oh, that totally makes sense then.
Yeah,
It totally makes sense.
Like his format is basically, he loves compelling characters and vignettes on those characters. I mean, that was what Lost was about, was like flashbacks of these characters and learn more about them. And then all the while enticing you with mystery and tension, but not giving you all the answers while still asking even more and more questions.
The payoff for the flashbacks in Lost was amazing. When it had that season 3 moment when it switched from flashing backwards to flashing forwards.
When you realize it was flashing forward, that was cool.
That was a huge payoff.
They lost
Huge
me.
payoff in the
They lost me at Polar Bear, the attacking polar bear.
Panda Bear would have been awesome.
Panda Bear wouldn't have been as scary in a tropical environment.
Yeah, but season 1 of Lost was so much different than everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I really liked season 1 of Lost, and I think that when you write something where you have more questions than answers, everyone starts to build out a pathway in their head, and then you can't service all that stuff.
Well, I think I saw an interview about like when they were talking to the writers about that, and complaining about like that it seemed so lost in so many questions, that kind of thing, that one of their, I guess, excuses or explanations was that throughout the process they didn't know how much long this show was going to be.
That's a tough thing.
And so they kept adding and adding and adding and still making it canon and connect to stuff. And so when you're writing, as opposed to like a movie, when you write the whole movie, beginning, middle, and end, TV series, you're like, well, we might have 3 seasons, we might have 1. who knows?
Yeah, it's one of the things, like, we try to stay format agnostic when we make content. Let's just make the best possible content, and then we'll put it in whatever venue makes the most amount of sense. But one of the big challenges with that is that, like, I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy again. When you're writing a movie, especially if something that shows in theaters, which is like a totally different format now than stuff that's like a feature length but designed for like online distribution, is that if you're in a theater, you got these people.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere for 90
Captivated
minutes.
audience.
Unless they really hate it. So you can have some pacing in the second act or like towards the end of the first act where you can do things that like pays off later. But with a television series or with something that's online, you got to like keep people hooked in.
Yeah.
The
Come back
entire
every time.
Yep. Yeah. And it's like, obviously you want to make something that's compelling and interesting, but at the same time, sometimes you want to make something that's a little bit longer drawn out, a little bit more of an investment.
Well, that's something I was even talking about with Tom the other day. We were talking about comic books, and we were talking about like he was asking like, do you think people are going to be reading more comic books now that more and more of these like movies are being made, and as opposed to like people read books from movies or read the books that movies are based on. I was like no, because like when you like take like Game of Thrones, to invest in a Game of Thrones from the literature side, you go and buy how many books? 5 books that there are? 5 books.
Yep.
You buy those 5 books, you have those 5 books, and you can read them to the end, that kind of thing. But to invest into like reading the X-Men is going to the comic book store every week or continuing to get all the issues and everything like that. And it requires returning to it all the time.
Some pretty high barriers to entry.
Yeah.
And it's also a matter of like, you don't know where to start.
Yeah.
It's just, there's so much lore.
I tried to get into comic books when DC rebooted everything with the New
Yeah.
52.
New 52, yeah.
They try to make moments like that. The DC New 52 and the Marvel Now moments.
Marvel's doing it now.
They try to give
Oh, really?
start points, but still, it's hard.
She-Thor and Captain America's dying.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's Falcon.
I'm appreciative of the fact that I seem to grow up at that time when it was like comics were a big deal, but it wasn't so much of a backlog.
Yeah.
I mean, there was also some new stuff. You know what I mean? And then it got to the point where when I fell out of comics, that's when graphic novels started to get really, really big.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the graphic novel format.
Well,
Because
even
that's-
just
it's a
the
great-
trade
great
paperback like collection format of comics is even
That's,
Right.
That's how I read a lot of comics. That's how I read Chew. I just wait for the trade.
So I did Walking
trade
Dead
issues to come
and
out.
then Civil War for Marvel.
I have the Walking Dead like Volume 1 compendium. It's
Compendium.
like this thick. It's like the first 45 issues. It's
How
fantastic.
Do you want to
tough
borrow
do you
Volume
think-
2? I have
I've
one, too.
read it already.
How tough do you think it would be to start over or start reading from the beginning The Phantom? You would need a newspaper from like 1930.
Yeah, some of that stuff.
So the
It's
Phantom,
insane.
the purple guy, right?
Yeah.
The skull ring.
Yeah.
That's a good
Well, that's
movie.
like people like
Peanuts.
if you like talking
They
about
made a Peanuts movie.
yeah
Really?
the
3D.
CG animated one.
Yeah.
Pass.
I hear that Phantom movie was terrible.
Yeah,
That's all right.
Matt really likes it. Matt likes that, and he likes The Shadow.
The show. Oh, I was going to say The Shadow. I love that movie. That's Alex Baldwin's best.
Baldwin.
I used to sit there and fucking watch those with him on VHS.
I had the action figure. You squeeze his legs and he'd go.
What are you, I don't even know what motion you're making. He's making like
his
a
guns.
gun motion.
Come on, man. The Shadow. Only the Shadow knows.
Well, that's with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like those, if you want to read the backlog of those characters, like Groot is from like a weird comic.
like Tales of Suspense number 4.
and he's like some weird villain and everything.
Swamp
and
Thing.
Rocket Raccoon.
It's a hieroglyphic.
Yeah, they're so old.
Let me see. I'll tell you where Groot came
What would
from.
be the hieroglyph for I am Groot?
He was a villain, like a
Wow.
monster. Yeah.
He's also known as the Monarch of Planet X. He was at first appearance was in Tales to Astonish
Yeah.
number 13.
Well, and Rocket Raccoon is the same
Wow.
thing. Like really bizarre. He's from the planet Nowhere, and he had a whole ensemble of anthropomorphic animals. Like he had a girlfriend who was like an otter, a friend that was a walrus, a friend that was a rabbit.
I thought his story was he was from Earth and then they did.
No, that's like in even another like reboot.
Oh, and then they also have the dog.
The
Cosmo?
Guardians that we know
Cosmo.
of now, I didn't know this when they made the movie, because the Guardians of the Galaxy to me was like this like obscure 70s comic like Dazzler or Cloak and Dagger or Moon Knight, and I was like, why are they focusing on this? But I didn't know they had rebooted the whole series back in 2008, because I'm out of comics at this
They
point.
basically almost rebooted twice.
Yeah?
Like the 2008 one was kind of a reboot, and then they kind of even sort of rebooted again with the Marvel Now, like in 2012.
But it's so tough. I mean, it's like, all the major powers and all the major characters, to come up with a new superhero now is really tough.
Yeah.
That's why I give George Romero a lot of credit, because everyone talks about zombies as though it's just like a genre of filmmaking and video games and comic books and like TV shows like Walking Dead. Like the guy who's writing Walking Dead, he basically just wrote, to me, a Romero TV show or a Romero graphic novel. And I'm sure he was inspired by George Romero. But that was like, if I said to you, come up with a new kind of monster that nobody's ever seen before, and I know zombies have existed, in like Haitian lore and stuff like that, or witchcraft. But like the idea of like the zombie apocalyptic scenario where it's transferable and all that, that is a monster. That's like a Frankenstein or a vampire or a werewolf. Or, it's like he came up with that. And it's hard to do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's like half the time in comic books, they actually grab characters from like 30, 40 years ago that no one remembers.
That's what I was getting at.
And they'll just bring them in, and most people just go, oh, this new character, like Rocket Raccoon, like, oh, it's Rocket Raccoon from 2008, as opposed to Rocket Raccoon from like 1973.
But that shit's hard. It's like, take the fucking Riddler and make the Riddler interesting, or Mephisto, or Mr. Mixoplick. I mean, what the fuck are you going to do with that? And it's like stuff that made sense in the 50s. Or like it was a Spider-Man villain, the Illusionist, who had the spiral on his top hat.
Oh, there's absurd characters. Like there's a catalog of them.
Modak, who's just like the floating head.
Modoc.
Yeah. And I mean, I felt that way, honestly, when the Nolan movie started. It's like, oh, who's going to be the villain in the new Dark Knight movie? It's like Scarecrow. I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? That's going to be terrible.
Right?
Yeah, it's like, how are they going to do Scarecrow as a villain?
Why open with the Scarecrow?
His rogue gallery is kind of interesting. Well, they had Raish, but his rogue gallery
But they did a great job
unique.
with it.
They did.
No, who's going to have an absurd rogue gallery is when the Flash TV show is out, because his villains are absurd.
Like the time
like
guy.
the Boomerang, the Boomerang guy, the freezing ray guy. Like he's got really
Dr.
weird
Cold or something.
Dr. Cold. I can't remember his name.
We're spending a lot of time on comic books here, but you know who had the worst lineup of villains of any superhero ever? That's Iron Man.
Yeah.
I mean, he had like a Fing Fang Foom.
Yeah, other than Mandarin, most people can't name other ones.
Yeah,
They
the
had to
Mandarin's
combine.
The ring guy.
Ming
Whiplash.
Dynasty Emperor with
Yeah.
like 10 different rings of power that do different stuff, and their interpretation of that within the Iron Man franchise, that was great.
Yeah.
I don't like the way they did Constrictor with Mickey Rourke, but I did like the way they've done just about everything else.
Really, you didn't think that the Constrictor was a good interpretation for film?
Constrictor's like one of those like obscure villains that I really liked.
Agreed, but like I was thinking like the adaptation of him into film, I thought it was like they did go with what they had.
Listen, Marvel, after Guardians of the Galaxy, I think Marvel can make whatever they want.
Yeah.
And they have the superhero genre,
Yeah.
and they can make superhero comedies, they can make superhero mysteries if they want to. I'm just waiting for Rom the Space Knight. Now, at this point, Rom the Space Knight's what. When we reach that character, I know they're tapping out at that point.
Really quick, I got one more thing to read. GoDaddy is releasing hundreds of new domains that tell people who you are and what you do, including .guru, .club, .photography, and .menu. There are options for just about everything, and your chances of getting the name you want are now better than ever. Register the domain that helps people find you online before someone beats you to it. Visit GoDaddy.com and enter promo code Rooster30 to save 30% on your order. Some limitations apply. See website for details. Let's sell some new domain names, RT. And that's it.
Oh, that was a fast one.
Yep.
Deal with it, Jordan.
I like the way you cut off so succinctly at the end.
Yeah, it kind of just ran out.
Do you guys even think about that? Like, do you guys register domain names at all?
I have a few.
Do you do?
I do have a few too. Yeah.
But every time the renewal comes up, I debate renewing them. I don't really have a reason for them very much.
I have a .biz domain.
you?
.biz.
What
Yeah.
is it? Can you tell us?
Virtualpiz.biz. It's a Homestar Runner reference.
Virtualpiz.biz.
Yeah.
It'll just it should just reroute you to the Strongbet email it's from, but it
I didn't get to it. P-I-Z?
I think it's PIZZ.
Yeah, I have
PIZZ.
I have a few domains and just
Yeah, because those are-
like I use one for my Tumblr just because I needed a use for it. Like I have an actual .com for my Tumblr blog.
Big on Tumblr, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's huge on Tumblr. I mean,
I'm huge.
that's what you do. That's like your main social destination. Would you agree?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
Narcissistic. The only reason I'm on Tumblr is to see my own tags and then respond if somebody's like, "Hey, Blaine, I have a question. What's up?"
Do you run a
I don't even know how that
blog?
works.
Tumblr's a great place for I use it a lot for inspiration because a lot of artists post their stuff on Tumblr. It's a good place to browse through a lot of artists' images and that kind of thing.
Seems like a cross section between like DeviantArt and Twitter to me. That's
Yeah.
what Tumblr seems like to
Yeah.
me.
I use Tumblr to practice the internet, which means I wait for people to send me messages and then I just be jerks to them and see how they react.
Really? That's like your test kitchen?
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
Wait, like
now
people
I
like
want to talk to
send,
Tumblr. I want to talk to Jordan on Tumblr. Hey,
Send me
dickhead.
something.
I don't like the. You know what? There's, and it's not just because like Tumblr's like a younger one. I'm just like, hey, I don't get this. I actively said I'm not doing this one,
Yeah.
and that happens with social media.
Yeah.
When it comes up and it's like, all right, do I have to pay attention to this?
But you said yes to Pinterest, right?
I said no to Pinterest. The big one I said no to was Instagram. I just refuse to do Instagram.
You're on, and I follow you. I just got on as a private thing, and I don't want to do it. Twitter does everything that Instagram does.
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Twitter's incorporating video somehow soon.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever posted a selfie anywhere. Not like, especially not one by myself. I may have posted like a group shot where I took
like
it
you
with
and Ashley or something.
like some other people.
Back at Disney, selfies for days.
Really? There's a really funny video that was posted online of a dad in the front seat taping recording his daughter.
I saw that. She was
taking selfies in the back seat.
Oh my God.
And she's taking selfies for like 2.5 minutes straight of just like selfie after selfie.
And it ends with him wrecking the car.
I hate selfies.
I was in Achievement Hunter the other day, and they were about to film a Let's Play in Mario Kart, so I stood up to take a break and watched them do it. And Ray wasn't playing, and so I obviously walked away from my phone.
Don't do it.
And he did that whole thing where he filled up my phone with selfies. He literally was about 5 feet from me while he did it. The fun thing was that you can take all those images and you compile them into a nice little GIF, and so you see an animation of Ray making the worst face possible.
I saw that. That was funny.
Oh, were you the one who put them all together and made that?
I exported them and put them together in a GIF, and he looks like he's having some sort of weird like constitutional problem.
Yeah. I am actually
around making faces.
And I will probably forget, and this podcast will be out after it, but last time I was on a PAX panel with Ray, I got up to do something, and he, like, in front of 5,000 people at PAX,
he's so quick.
He did that exact thing. He's really, and I've never seen him do it to anybody else's phone.
Well, he started mine that he was doing it, and then he turns around and gets me in the frame in the back.
Wow.
I was like, wow.
Insult to injury.
Yeah, just to make fun of you.
That's like a horror film. Like it's in the house with you, behind you, and you know it. It's really horrible to be included in that process. Yeah, but I never got involved with Instagram, and I can be honest with you, I never regretted it. Except for the fact that some other guy grabbed my name. And then occasionally, like, I'll take photos of people who are on Instagram. They tag me, and it just tags this dude.
Oh yeah, I have 2 Instagrams that I don't use, but I'm just like holding the name. like I have my name and then like my Twitter name.
Yeah.
He's shameless about it too, because it's like Phil DeFranco tagged me. It tagged this dude anyway, and he's like, "Thanks for all the followers."
Son of a bitch.
So it's like one of those things where it's
well,
like,
yeah, that's where Tumblr gets a little scary sometimes, because there's people who act like they're you, almost like role playing. That's the dark part of Tumblr.
I've gotten people to give up, like they had my name and they were like, "If you're on Tumblr, you can have it." And I was like, "Cool."
Well, I don't even like when people use on any form of social media when they use an avatar that is somebody that I know.
Yeah.
It's not them. Because my initial reaction is I see the avatar and I think, oh, there's Gav. It's like, nope. Gavin probably is the one who has the most people mimicking him online.
Like
it's really bizarre.
I've started reading fan fiction, like with me in it as like the main other person.
What a surprise! You're only reading ones with you in it.
It's fucking cool. It's weird. It's like, how do they know me so well? It's pretty interesting.
I stay away from that stuff.
There's one where it's like a new employee coming into Rooster Teeth, and then like I'm like all charming and stuff, and it's like, wow, I love me.
They don't know
so
you.
Are you the new employee, or is the new employee somebody else?
Somebody else.
And you're hitting on
and
them.
I'm the one that's like, hey, I'll take you to dinner or something. Like, yeah, Blaine,
That's
get
your,
it.
Want me to pick you up?
Jesus.
I just want to see. I want to see somebody write a fan fiction and then Blaine read it and then incorporate it into his life. He's like, that Blaine is pretty fucking cool.
I'm gonna start acting like him.
I won't be like that, Blaine.
There's no Jim Blaine fan fictions though, which is unfortunate. So.
There's no what?
Jim?
Jim Blaine. I expected that one the most for some reason.
I got blown off by Blaine on text the other day. He's like, look, I'll read to you. He's like, I can't talk to you right now, bro. I'm at the gym.
You send me a nerdy text. You're like, oh, by my calculations, the RT recap is at 100 episodes. And it was like,
wouldn't you want to know if one of your shows that you work on is about to hit episode 100?
but I've only done like 20 of episodes, so I was like, nerd. And I was like, I gotta go.
He was in bro mode. Jesus.
All right, speaking of the gym, can I tell a quick story?
He goes, I'll incorporate that in the episode somehow. Gotta go, bro. I'm at the gym, bro.
Say bro more.
So I used to work, I lived at a co-op. Do you know what a co-op is?
What am I, a 12-year-old? Yeah, I know what a co-op is.
Some people don't know what a co-op is. It's basically it's like a living community. Everybody has labor, and it's like you like cook dinners together.
It's fucking gross.
Yeah, do you get Labor
It's
Day
a bunch of hippies. So basically,
It's usually disgusting.
we had a gym, and I called it Blaine's Gym because I took care of it. I painted my name in there, and then I like bought all the equipment and stuff. So one day my friend was working out.
You don't strike me, by the way, not to interrupt, but you don't strike me as a co-op guy. I was really surprised to find out that you lived in a co-op.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Usually it's dudes with
Who in the
dreadlocks.
company who strikes you as a co-op guy?
John Reisinger.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe Josh.
trying to think who else. I think it's Yvonne.
JJ.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so so we had a gym in there, and I used to take care of it. And I had a text one morning, and my friend was like, "Hey, there's an old used condom in here. I don't know what it's from. There's a music room above, and it's like somebody must have been doing something up in the music room."
Okay.
Yeah, so he's like,
What could they have used
He's
this
like,
for?
I just wanted to give you a heads up because he was in your gym. I was like, okay, well, I'll go check it out. So we had
I'll go
security cameras in
investigate.
there, and I went in and I went into the history, and I found 30 minutes of security footage of two people banging in Blaine's gym.
Nice.
And they did the most obscene things. Like
Nice.
he was like doing curls while things were happening,
Oh,
and like
nice.
it was the worst. So
It's the worst because it wasn't you. That's, I mean, how you were like,
just
I'm
jealous.
using this gym all wrong.
but my friend though would like worked out and touched all the equipment in that gym.
Oh, get over it.
And then it's just like those people were all over it, you know. So I called that guy. He used to live at the co-op. I used to call him Jim Fucker every time I saw him. I was like, hey, Jim Fucker, how you doing?
So, going back to that, I would be really horrified if somebody came to me and said, I found a used condom and I know exactly what it's from. That would be a way more concerning statement than not knowing what it's from.
That was one of
also,
the-
You know what it's from. You don't know
don't
who it's
review
from.
security footage. That's a social contract. You just don't go back and look at security
It's
footage.
it's horrible.
Just don't ever do it. I mean, it's like you're never going to like what you see on there. Unless there's a crime that took place, that's what it means. It's not what is the used condom from.
Well, I had to find
What
out
is the
because it's like obviously these people can't be doing this in Blaine's gym. Blaine's
up a
gym is a
sign.
sacred place.
Put up a sign.
I need you to stop referring to it as Blaine's gym.
It's Blaine's gym. I was gonna put Pokemon themed things in there, but I left before that happened. But it's Blaine's gym.
Isn't Blaine actual Pokemon?
Yeah,
That's
the
actually
seventh
pretty
gym
funny.
leader from Cinnabar Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put up a sign like no
That makes
preacher
sense.
blowies or anything.
It was weird though.
Wait,
It was
we've
weird.
had-
So what did you
And
do? Did you like hose the place down with Lysol?
Yeah, I know. I brought them in, the two people that did it, and I was like, "You're gonna clean the shit out
You're
of this
in
place because
trouble.
I touch this equipment every day." I
Did
was
they
like,
know about the Did they know about the tape?
No, they didn't even know there were security cameras.
do
This is like,
now.
boy,
Yeah.
you're in for a surprise. Yeah.
Did you show them the tape?
You know, one night the guy came to me and he was like drunk and it was like midnight and I was like watching a movie and he's like, "Hey, do you have that footage of me doing that thing?" And it was like,
Oh, jeez.
"No, get away from me!" Like,
awful.
It was really weird.
That's
If I were
awful.
you, I wouldn't have told them that you saw video footage because
Everybody
if
in
they
the
don't
co-op
know
knew about it.
If they don't know, that's good.
Yeah, I don't like cameras everywhere. I've never liked that. Let people if people want to bang in a gym, let them get away with it. There's
There's like
cameras here
6
because we're
right
on
in front of
set.
you.
But if I'm touching this
I know that I'm on set. I don't like random cameras.
We missed a story you were about to say a little while ago when I talked about peeing in public.
Right. Yeah.
You talked about getting locked. I don't want to miss that. So can we go back to that real quick?
I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
I want to
Where
hear
did
it.
you
Oh,
pee
good. I
and
really want to
can
hear
we
it now.
avoid it?
I'm gonna get in trouble for this. I'm looking over there. So one of the other things that happens a lot is that I will.
Ashley has perked up so much right now.
I listen. We drive to work a lot together, and then sometimes the cars it's like we'll drive separately to work, Ashley and I.
Okay.
And then the car will stay here for a couple days because we'll drive back and forth together for a while, and then we get off, and it's like, well, I need to go home early. And she's like, okay, we'll go ahead and go. I am 100% since we moved from stage 5 or moved into stage 5. I'm 100% of leaving the office before Ashley and not having my keys with me because my Tesla does not have a set of keys. It just
Your
has
house
like a
keys.
Yeah, it just has a little fob on it. So I don't carry my key ring all the time. So that happens all the time. I always forget my keys. Ashley, it happened to her one time out of 6 months we've been here. She got locked out. She took the car home and I was taking the truck home and she got locked out. And I was like, "Oh shit." I said, I'll drive home right away and I'll find you. I'll get you. I'll let you in. She goes, "Well, hurry because I have to pee." And then I was like, "I'm packing up right now." And she says,
plot thickens.
She says, "You know what?"
Ashley is like this
She
right
goes,
now.
She goes, "You know what? Forget it." She goes, "No big deal." And I was like, "No, you got to pee." She goes, "I don't have to pee anymore." And I was like, "What?" And Ashley doesn't give a shit. She doesn't give a fuck. So I was really surprised. She tells me the story that Ashley peed in our backyard,
Yeah.
which seems like I would do that in a heartbeat.
Do you pee in your backyard?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I tell the kids to do it too, like
Yeah.
boys. Say, "Go ahead, just pee
Did
right
you go
there."
in the pool, Ashley?
No, did you pee on a
Come up
plant?
to the microphone.
Microphone.
See, I'm hoping she'll do
Hot
the
mic.
she'll do the motion.
Did you?
How did that work out for you,
Sorry.
sweetheart?
He says sorry now.
So first of all, I did not go in the pool because I'm not a savage. I went against a tree like a civilized
Yeah, me
human
neither.
being.
She went against a tree. She didn't go in the pool. She went against a tree.
Well,
That's
here's the
talented.
thing: like, girls don't have the same equipment that guys do. You can't just whip it out and just like write your name.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
And I was wearing jeans, so I needed something to like lean against. So I had to like grab the tree and just like leans.
Wait, you grabbed it
leans.
forward? You didn't like kind of like
So
go
you're-
backward?
I did.
and lean?
I
hugging
actually
a
had to hug a tree and pee on it.
So you're, like, leaning forward at an
I think I
angle.
sent some really mixed signals.
So she grabs the tree. This is the way she described it to me. She grabs the tree, puts her feet like at the base of the tree, and then leans back.
Right,
So
but
she's
see-
like, we have neighbors.
But see,
Home Improvement?
The
The
real
neighbor that
trick
looked
was
over the
I had to
fence?
I had to scout the entire backyard first to figure out like what's a blind spot to all neighbors, because we have our neighbors have. Like they can see across the yard, especially like ones on the other side, which means like no topless sunbathing. It's really sad.
I'm so mad at them. They took a tree down and she won't topless sunbathe anymore.
Sons of bitches.
I know, right, Blaine? It's the worst.
dare they?
But no, I
But you still
did
topless
find. I
sunbathe,
now
right?
know the one spot in the yard, and it's next to the
The
tree.
sweet spot.
You found it.
Yeah,
But there's no sun there.
That's my new pee spot.
Next time I come over,
I'm gonna be like Joe. I'm gonna be like Joe the cat and just refuse to pee indoors.
That part of the yard is gonna die.
next time I'm there for like Game of
Jesus.
Thrones or whatever, just point that spot out so I know not
What
to
are you
go.
so
Yeah,
worried
we'll
about? What are
avoid
you
it.
so worried about? Let me tell you,
Actually, pee-pee.
I've peed all over the backyard, so don't worry about it.
Hey,
Bring a black light.
Blaine, if you're not careful, I'll pee in your gym.
No, you stay away from Blaine's gym.
So I have to admit that I have completely lost Joe the cat to Ashley.
Oh,
They are best buds.
I'm glad you said to Ashley at the end of there.
Yeah.
No,
I got
no,
worried
you
for a
lost
second.
He's a dick.
I follow you on Instagram, and that's like Joe the cat pictures, and they're good too. He's like such a chill cat. It's
Yeah,
like-
I'm a wonderful Joe the cat photographer. You should see my camera roll, all the ones I don't post, because I'm like, maybe too much Joe the cat.
It is true. It's like 50% of her photos are
need
Joe the
more
cat.
food pictures. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm really sorry that I had to tell that
No,
story.
you're
They
not.
required me to do it.
Not even a little
It was
bit.
part of it. Part of the deal. Social contract.
Yeah,
blame it
we
on me.
made him.
That's all right.
John brought just go back watch tape. It was long gone. The story was long gone. John brought it back up.
Well, I was
And
gonna bring it
if
up
John
too,
never
but-
hosts news ever again, it's complete coincidence.
Complete. Yeah. Thanks, Ash.
It was nice being on the know.
Have you ever peed on?
Wait till Jordan animates it. Then we're really in
This is
trouble.
gold.
Have you ever peed in the car while you're driving? It's like you've been alone.
Dumb and Dumber
you need
style?
to go to the bathroom, but alone. You've never tried that?
No.
What do
No?
you do? You pee while you're driving?
So I had a
Yeah,
Whataburger cup, and I was
Just
on my way back
pull
to
over.
Dallas.
Oh, God.
It's a 3.5-hour drive, but then I hit traffic in Dallas.
I don't think I've peed in a cup since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
Well,
On a
I peed
road
in this
trip.
cup, and it was a bad time. Let me tell you that.
As opposed to a good time peeing in the cup?
I mean, if it's successful,
Hey,
you
This is a
pull
good
it off.
time.
Here's the difference when you're a kid and you're on a road trip and they tell you to pee in the cup and you pee in the cup and then you stop and dump it out or whatever. Just stop and pee on the side of the road. That's the
Right.
same fucking
Yeah.
thing. It's
traffic.
Otherwise, you're not going to ride around in your car with a cup of pee.
Well, I did because it was traffic in Dallas, and there's nowhere to pull over.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, dump it out the window.
No, because then I'm gonna hit the biker next to me or whatever.
Let's stop talking about pee. I gotta pee.
I got you so bad, dude.
Don't touch his knee when you say that. I don't even know how much.
Bernie,
Are you keeping track of time? How much
No,
time
I
do
didn't
we
know
have
that was my
left?
job.
I'm gonna go pee in Bernie's house.
We got 5-10 minutes left.
5 minutes?
If
We
you
can
gotta
make that
go,
Jordan.
you can go.
No,
Hey, do you
I'm
want
good.
which one
Gus
do you
isn't
want?
here, man. We don't care.
Do you want sound check or do you want the?
I
He
usually
goes to the
use-
bungalow.
I gotta start the bathroom situation. I cannot wait for this to be corrected because there's a I guess like a pact where if you're using the bathroom, that's yours. Nobody's gonna come in and use the
No,
one
I
next to
disagree.
you.
I disagree.
John and I
That's
ended up in
always
there
been-
together.
Yeah.
But that's how it's been at the
happened
old
more
office.
than once?
We had a toilet and we had a urinal in one of those bathrooms. People don't come in and use the urinal
fuck
if you're on the
that.
All right,
shitter.
all right. Well, let's stop for a second. Let's explain the layout of what we're talking about. Okay. At the old office, there was 2 bathrooms, and there was one that was called the main bathroom, which had a toilet in a room, and then there was kind of like a side room off of that also had a urinal in it.
Right.
There was no stall for
Well,
that
it's just
toilet.
a partial wall.
Partial
no door,
wall.
no nothing.
Partial wall, and the toilet did not. It was just like a normal bathroom that had also like a little nook.
I just want to pee by myself though.
The current place
I'm
we have a
self-conscious
bathroom
about my stream.
that has a bathroom. It's a small bathroom, but it has a toilet with a stall and a urinal and a sink, but a toilet with a stall. That's the
Yeah.
main difference. So
Yeah.
go ahead. Now that you know what
Well,
we're talking about.
So heretofore, the protocol has been somebody comes out if you're
So proper.
if you're in the honey wagon and you're peeing. What I do is there's no lock on the door anymore because you can't go.
That-
you
Beg
can't-
to differ.
you-
Somebody locked it this
You
morning.
can't take twosies in there anymore.
come on.
Or they frown upon it anyway. I always knock just in case, and then nobody answers. I go in, and so I was peeing one time, and my greatest fear is somebody walking in, and sure enough, of all people, JJ comes in.
Jesus.
Doesn't even knock, opens the door. I was like occupied in the middle of my peeing. He's like, "Ha, this is awkward. walks right in, goes into the stall next to me, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
and that's perfectly
"Oh,
fine.
what are you doing?"
I'm fine with that.
There's
No,
a door
I didn't like
between
that.
you.
Did you play sports in high school or middle school?
Blaine, I'm totally with
Scoff.
Fuck it, you know?
I'm totally with you. One of the biggest stories that I continue to get the most amount of shit for is the time we're all in a hotel room. Joel's taking a shower. I go in the bathroom and take a piss while he's in the shower. That was like egregious to everybody that I would do that.
That's not how I animated it. You were taking a dump.
And like trying to see Joel's junk.
Yeah, exactly.
I was in the honey
Not
wagon
at all.
the other
That's
day, and
proof.
you actually came in and asked permission if you're like, are you okay if I come in too?
Fuck
I was like, yeah, it's fine.
I was making sure because people are all
nice.
tight about it. See, I'm all gun
Yeah.
shy because of the stupid
I talked to
RTA
them.
that you made.
I don't even care.
Exactly. Don't do it. Don't do it, JJ.
You come over to the bungalow.
No, listen,
That's where I go to take my other business.
I've been going to sound
Really?
check and I'll see I recognize people's shoes. I've seen Gus's, I saw Kyle's this morning. I recognize
That's
these
really
people.
funny.
I'll start talking to them. I'll be like, hey Gus, how you doing?
Oh, man.
Now,
Doing
John
good, how
did
are
that
you?
to me. John continued to talk to me as I was peeing. And I was like, this we're not going to do. This is,
Yeah.
What did I say?
This
I
is
don't
across
remember.
my, I don't know. We were just chatting about
don't
something.
like people who do that. Like if you go in, like if you're like, I gotta pee too. So you go together to the bathroom. If it's a public bathroom, you're fine.
did.
dealing with
Acknowledge the
that.
awkward
but when you
moment.
start
I
talking
did.
to each other, it's like, I'm busy. I gotta focus on this.
It's
How
whatever.
much
I don't like
concentration
it.
do you need to pee?
Acknowledge the awkward moment.
I'm definitely, though, in the school of thought that Blaine is, where it's like, I grew up, that kind of shit just didn't matter.
Yeah, bro.
People just pee over everyone, just all over each other.
The party where I got
Pee on a
everybody
tree,
super drunk at
whatever you
Gus's, I peed in the backyard.
Yeah.
In like plain sight of a lot of people.
Jeez.
And that was like mortifying.
No, it's the ultimate act of manhood. You just
big
pee on
people.
nature.
This is
I
mine
totally
now.
agree. I
This
totally
is
agree with you.
Do you own Gus's
The
backyard
ultimate
now?
act of manhood is peeing on stuff.
I mean, it's one of many acts of manhood.
No, you said the ultimate,
I
okay?
think
You
you
set it up
guys-
on a pedestal.
In this conversation,
You guys are fucking Neanderthals.
I went to a church camp where this. Okay, this,
Heretofore, you are a Neanderthal.
this gets weird, but I went to a church camp where one of our camp counselors was in the bathroom while a kid was taking a crap, and then he peed on his foot.
Did he really?
He was like, just peed on his foot.
You'll like this. Then there's a whole
you
series of
talk
a
about
guy
it?
who does with Vines where he takes a sports bottle and he goes in and he sprays in the toilet and then just sprays somebody's foot with it. Dude, the reactions. the disembodied voice. Going, what the fuck?
There's one where a guy asks for
pee.
toilet paper. He's like, hey, can you pass me a roll underneath the thing? You're like, yeah. Dips his hand in Nutella, and then he grabs it. And they're like, what the fuck is this? What did you do?
Oh my god.
It's so fucking
So
gross.
why am I not surprised that Blaine loves bathroom humor? That doesn't surprise me in the least.
That's pretty funny.
In the least.
He's losing it right
if
now.
JJ had pranked me like that while he was using the other stall, I would have been like, yeah, that's cool.
Oh, man.
Dear Lord. All right. Well, I think we're getting close here. Are we, guys? Anybody? Last topics? John, first podcast. How did you feel about it? I like your first podcast. We put you in Gus's chair and made
Yeah.
you do all the ad reads.
Yeah, thanks for taking
I'm
that.
good with that.
Yeah.
Taking the bullet.
I gotta
Ashley's
pee.
gonna break up with me after this. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and she's gonna fire me from the no.
Yeah, we're all in the outs.
I'm so glad I got on the podcast.
Which bathroom are you going for so we don't?
I'll go to the honey wagon. You
I'll go to soundcheck.
You go soundcheck.
Do you guys
You
want to
come in the
coordinate?
fucking honey wagon. I'm gonna.
I'm
All right. Well, on the patch this week, we're going to be talking about all the stuff that we saw at PAX over the weekend. I'm sure there's going to be, as we go into the holiday season, there's going to be like lots of announcements, maybe new looks at games and stuff like that. So that'll be people who went to PAX. I don't know who's going to be on it yet, but people who attended the convention will be on there to talk all about that stuff as well. So if you want to see that tonight, you can see it on Wednesday instead. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's go.